Hello and welcome to Talk of Good Games. Just finished West Ham United 0, Fulham 1. This one stings. This one hurts a lot. And for a lot of people, they will have been expecting a defeat. They were expecting a loss, so on and so forth. And whilst I had a feeling that we'd win, my brain said that it's not going to be a good game per se. It still stings a lot. This goal just hits differently. This game just hits differently. And I think what hurts a little bit for me is I started to get a bit of hope during the game as the game went on and Callum Wilson come on. I thought, hello, we might get this. We might get all 3 points here because I felt it was a winnable fixture. And up until Fulham scored, I felt it was still a winnable fixture. But as soon as Fulham scored, that was a game over. It's stingy. This one stings a little bit. Anyway, I'm going to discuss the very little highlights and how I'm feeling. But thank you very much for joining me. If you're new to Hammers Chat and you as we say, you enjoy the video, please consider subscribing. You probably won't enjoy the video, but if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe and do drop a like on the video as well by clicking the thumbs up button as well. I would appreciate the support. And the first half, there wasn't much to talk about, really. I think some half chances at best for both teams. I think it was quite comfortable for both teams because I think the opposition for both sides were quite poor. They'd have the ball, we'd have the ball. Neither side really created a clear-cut opportunity in the first 45. But I do think that we were missing a striker in the first half. There was quite a few occasions. I was trying to count, but I'll be honest with you, I forgot to keep counting and gave up. 6 occasions in the first half where we get into a certain position and the lack of striker was just obvious. So a couple of occasions, one in particular, Bowen was the one that crossed it from the left-hand side. There was no one in the box at all. We were just screaming out for a striker in the first half, and that's on Nuno. The starting 11, listen, there was 2 things I was unhappy about in that starting 11. One of them was Max Kilman, and one of them was no Callum Wilson. I think Max Kilman had a really good game today. Okay, so that, in theory, was right. It feels a little bit low of averages. You keep picking him. He's going to have a good game. However, it's a review of the match only. Credit where it's due. I think Kilman had a good game. But I do think the lack of Callum Wilson was glaring from the very start. And then when he came on, I felt like there was a small improvement. And we'll get on to that substitution in a second. Come half-time, no sub. Unsurprising, but still frustrating because I felt like the game was in a balance. And I generally feel like we could have gone on to win that game. And even though I'm still sad, I do think a lot of my sadness is because I feel like we've just lost a fixture, which on the 45th, 50th minute, I think we could have won that game. I do believe we could have won that one. We started to play a little bit better in the second half. I think we were, for a little bit in the first half, I think we were the better team than they were the better team. And overall, it was quite even. But in the second half, at the start of it, I felt like we were maybe the better team, but without creating a massive opportunity. I think Bowen had a couple of half chances without taking any of them. Somerville had a really good half chance. And you could see the issue with Somerville. He took an extra touch and hesitated. It was like he buffered there. Wilson come on. I thought he made a difference immediately. He brought the ball down, laid it off, and he just looked good. I think we looked better with a striker on the pitch. But after about 10, 15 minutes of Wilson being on the pitch, I thought we entered a new problem, which is the players were absolutely knackered. I thought Potts looked tired. I thought Walker-Peters at times was looking tired. I thought Paqueta was looking tired. Fernandez, I think a lot of them had given everything. Because one thing I will say, and I received criticism for this a couple of weeks ago, but I still feel like this. I still think the players are trying. I do genuinely believe the players are trying. I don't think the lineup was right. I don't think the tactics were right. I think there was individual mistakes, of course. I think they're really low in confidence, but I genuinely don't have a complaint with the effort from any of the players individually today. The defense, I thought, actually did quite well up until the end. I think the midfield were trying. I think Wilson came on and tried. Arguably, that's worse because sometimes you look at a manager, you think, well, if you get a new guy in and he just gets the players playing, they'll be okay. I think they are giving effort. But we were knackered by the end of it, lack of subs. And Wilson's on the pitch when his teammates are absolutely knackered. So when the ball did go up the other end with Wilson, there was lack of support for them because they were too tired to get up there and give it to him. Very, very frustrating. Then we come on to the Fulham goal. And I feel like 10 minutes maybe before Fulham scored, they were the better team. They had us pinned back, Fulham. We were stuck in our box. We couldn't get out. I think it flashed up at one point. They had like 80% possession in 10 minutes or something. And it felt like it as well. They were all over us. Smith Rowe and Josh King were doubling up on Walker Peters. There was no support from Jared Boyd defensively, whether it's instruction, whether he's knackered, I don't know. He wasn't getting back to help out Walker Peters. I think King and Smith Rowe were causing problems over there. They had a couple of half chances. And then it's the goal. And I actually feel bad. I have to be honest, and I will be, but I do feel bad about this as well, because Ollie Skiles makes 2 mistakes, which leads to their goal. And the reason I feel bad is because I actually think he had a really good game up until that point. I said it during the watch along. I think Skiles had played really, really well. I think he was winning his battles with Wilson. I think he was getting forward reasonably well. I think Skiles had a solid, brilliant game. Then he loses Wilson. Wilson's in. It's not a great cross. It comes back out. And Skiles, it's just a really tired effort at clearing it. He misses it completely. Back in by Wilson. Free header by Jimenez. There is no one to blame for their goal apart from Skiles there. And that's the honest opinion of mine for that one. I feel bad for him. I've seen him at full time crying. I understand why he's crying, because he'll feel like he's the reason that they've scored. But the reality is, I think he was the reason that they scored. From then on, we had absolutely nothing. I don't know. There's 5 minutes left in normal time, and 4 minutes or 9 minutes maybe. I think we got the ball in the box once, something like that. That was it. The subs of Souček and Earthy, it was pleased to see Earthy come on. The one of Souček from Magassa, I don't think it made sense. I thought Magassa was playing well. I thought he was one of the players who actually still looked like he had a bit of energy, but because of the size of him, he does eat up the ground quite comfortably. So when he did go forward, he was getting forward quite quickly. But I think Magassa defensively was pretty solid too. There was a couple of occasions King cut inside, and Magassa was the one there blocking it, and he was the one getting on the end of second balls and headers and cleaving out and stuff. So I do feel like taking Magassa off was a really bad error from Nuno. Did it result in anything? Did we lose because of that substitution? I can't really make a case that we did, but I just at the time felt like it was the wrong sub. In post-match, I still feel like it was the wrong sub. But that is a real tough defeat, and that is a blow for West Ham and for Nuno. 2 wins in 13 games now. It's a really terrible return. And this was a must-win game for us. It absolutely was. Man City did their part against a very spirited Nottingham Forest earlier, keeping it as 5 points. We had an opportunity to close that to 2, give us a lift, give us confidence, momentum going into the game against Brighton on Tuesday. And we've just got beaten. And listen, Fulham, I think Marco Silvas is a great manager and whatnot. Fulham were not good today. Okay? If we get beat, and I feel like the team we played were magnificent, I can sort of say, all right, fair enough. But when we got beat by Villa, I didn't feel like we played Villa at their best, and it was an opportunity missed. When we drew with Brighton, it wasn't Brighton at their best, opportunity missed. And today's the same again. I don't think Fulham were good today, but they didn't have to be. They were all right. They deserved the win in the end, but I didn't think they came out and blew us off the park or anything. I think that was quite a balanced game up until our players started getting tired. I'm gutted. I really am, because today felt like last chance saloon a little bit for me, that if we win today, maybe we'll get out of this. But you look ahead, Brighton and Wolves, you needed to win today to give people hope, to give people belief, to carry that into the Brighton game, and we've just got beat. And it's hard. It's hard not to question Nuno, because you look at your starting 11 and you think, what are you doing? Today was a must-win game, and we started it with no striker on the pitch. I cannot understand that, and I cannot forgive that. And I won't. I'm not even going to try and forgive it, because it is unforgivable for me. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say, had we started with Wilson, we would have won that game. We might not have done. We probably wouldn't have. But I do think we would have had a better chance. we might have scored in the first half. We might not have, we might have. But I strongly, strongly believe we would have had a better chance of winning that game with Wilson on from the start. And I know we don't have the best squad. I know he's got a crap bench. But you don't have to have Wilson on it. It's his game plan. Nuno's game plan today was to keep it tight, keep it 0-0, and bring Wilson on and win it, right? That was his game plan. And he went first with the sub. He went before Marco Silva. So I would argue that what Nuno wanted to happen today has happened. Keep it tight and get Wilson on, and then you'll win the game. I think that's what he was trying to do. And it was 0-0 when Wilson came on. So up until then, Nuno's plan had gone how he wanted it. But I think what he didn't factor in was once Wilson would be on the pitch, he'd have about 10 minutes, then the players would be knackered. And that's something he should have seen, because these players have been tired in previous games at this point because they give everything for 70, 80 minutes. Now, if you don't believe they give everything, you're not going to agree with me at this point, because my whole argument depends on you agreeing with me that the players give 100%. It's bad management. I think Nuno, listen, Ollie Scholes has cost us the goal. I think Nuno cost us the game. That's what I believe. That's what I feel. I didn't like the starting 11. I was pleased Wilson come on, although it felt late. Although it was quite early for Nuno, it was late. It should have been at half time if you're not going to start him. And I think it was the right sub, bringing him on for Somerville. I've got no complaints with that sub. Somerville was poor today. He wasn't influencing the game like he usually does. His end product is usually lacking, but I felt his dribbling and his running was lacking today as well. He wasn't harming Fulham. He wasn't picking up the ball and travelling well with it. So I agree with the sub. It was just late. So when it did happen, Bowen didn't have much in tank, and he didn't play well today either. There was a couple of occasions he got the ball in good positions, Bowen did, and he failed to deliver. And that's not good enough. It's not like Bowen, but it's not good enough today. I am hurting after watching that one. I'm hurting. I'm really, really sad. I just want to say a massive thank you to One Leeds, who's Connor. Says, beat Brighton, sign a striker, you'll be sound. Connor, I feel a bit of a knobhead promoting our podcast, but me and Connor do a podcast on the One Leeds channel. Relegation Rhythm, it's called, discussing West Ham Leeds. To be fair, give it another month, all we'll be discussing is West Ham, Burnley and Wolves. Also to West Ham 21 for the support, saying we did play better. To Robinson, who says, seems like we have nothing to lose at this point. I think Nuno has to go regardless of who replaces him. Thank you for the £5 super chat and the support. Also to Gordon, saying, thank you, Gio. Why don't we go back to 4-3-3 with Potts, Paqueta and Fernandes with Wilson up front, then super sub / very false 9 at Souček at the 60. This would have been our best lineup by far. I personally wouldn't take Magassa out. I think he's been good. Thank you, Gordon, for support. Also, thank you to Scarming, who says, feel sorry, mood's been crap, haven't tuned into live streams. Unfortunately, I'm swayed to the side now. We're going down. January's too late. Thought we could get 8 points from these 4. Now, I don't know. Well, you're going to get 9, 6, 5, 4, none. Brian, who else beside me will stick with Hammers Chat for Allocated? Well, Brian, thank you. You're a good supporter of the channel. Thanks to you all. It's difficult to sum up how I'm feeling other than sad, really. I am actually gutted. And I know someone will say, well, did you expect to win? Blah, blah, blah. And like I always say, just because you expect something doesn't mean you can't be sad. And I give the extreme example. Mrs. Gio knew a great nan was going to pass away. Does that mean she can't be sad when she actually dies? Of course not, right? Of course she can be sad, even though she knew it was going to happen. Because, I don't know, today just felt different to me. Maybe you experienced this last month, 2 months ago. Maybe I'm just lagging behind you. It just feels a bit different to me. I get it. If anyone wants, Nuno sacked, I get it. Completely get it. At this point, I agree. What's the harm? What can happen? We'll start losing games. We're already losing games. Don't know. Anyway, I just want to say thank you very much. Quick turnaround of games. So tomorrow, don't know what time I'll be live with the debrief show. I will be. I might message someone and see if they're going to come on with me and we do like a live stream together. Because we'll play Brighton on Tuesday night. So we've got a very, very quick turnaround of games now. Those boys somehow need to get their heads up and get going. This is where we need good, strong leadership at that club. And I don't think we've got it. And this is what's bad, because I think you can shrug off getting beat by Man City. How do you shrug off tonight's defeat? Scars is in tears at the end of the pitch. He needs strong leadership. Someone, Bowen, everyone in that team needs to get around Scars and make sure he's all right, because we need him on Tuesday night. The boys have to go again on Tuesday. Me and you, we're allowed to be miserable and sit here and say, oh, that's it, we're going down. The players can't think like that. The players can't act like that. Nuno can't do it. They've got to somehow carry belief. They've got to somehow get up for Tuesday. They have to. They absolutely have to. But, well, I don't have to. I'm allowed to be miserable. And I am. I'm sad. Win today, hope. We've lost. Fuck's sake, West Ham. Anyway, I'm off. Thank you for tuning in. I'll be live tomorrow at some point. I'll do a community post when I know, and hopefully I'll see some of you in the live chat. And the live show tomorrow, by the way, is where you have your say. We get your comments up on the screen. Hopefully I'll see some of you there. I'll catch you in a bit.